Okay, welcome. We'll call the Board of Selectmen's meeting for June 4th, 2025 to order. Item 1, to consider and if appropriate, approve the minutes of May 21st, 2025.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. Any omissions, errors, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, item carries. Item 2, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request from John Hefferly, Town Engineer, to reject all bids received for the Main Street Reconstruction Rehabilitation Project per Section 75-3B of the Code of the Town of Branford, as is in the best interest of the town. John?
Sure, thank you. If you might recall, this project is a lot SIP funded project, which is a state grant funded project for construction. So just to keep that in mind, that everything that we do is subject to DOT approval because it's their money. So we did go out to public bid in February for this project. There were a number of addenda that were issued, so a lot of questions came in on the plans and the specs. They had to be answered by our design engineer so that we can get a complete bid. So there were 5 addenda issued on this bid. We received 5 bids, I believe. 5 bids on the project, ranging from a base bid of $9.95 million to $14.93 million. The parent low bidder was Kelowna Concrete. However, they did not submit addenda 4 and 5. First thing we did was look at what's in 4 and 5. One of them had to do with adding 35 feet of stairway and railing, which we thought was a minor item. The other one extended some unit pricing that we received unit pricing bids for, say, per square foot of concrete, right? Through addenda, we increased the amount of square feet of sidewalks. So we just extend the bid unit price. It's kind of standard practices. You bid $5 on a square foot. Now we added 5 extra square feet. It's an extra $25, right? So again, we found that to be a minor inconsistency. And then as we're looking through the bids, we found some Scrivener's errors, which were, you typically have them write the dollar amount and then write it in words and then extend that out from the unit pricing to the total price for the item. Found a number of errors where they transcribed over. However, once we went through that exercise, the total amount of $9.5 million was correct. So we were able to work all that out, and that's kind of the process that we took just to figure out what went wrong here, and are these just inconsistencies in the bid, right? So we did bring that, all of our findings to the DOT and had them review it. They weren't as committal on moving forward the process as the town attorney would care for. So his recommendation at the time was to reject all bids and rebid the project. And so that's what we're before you now, is to reject all the bids. We would then have our design engineer really take all the 5 addenda that are issued throughout the bid process, roll them into a clean set of plans so we don't have those questions at the next go-round, kind of tidy things up and make the process go quicker, and then go back out to bid as soon as we could. So.
Okay. Great.
I don't have any questions. Any new ones?
Yeah.
They've been answered.
All right. So,
Make a motion to approve.
all right. And I will second that motion. Any further discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you talk about what this will do to the timeline of the project, since originally it went out to bid February, and now this has occurred, it's June?
Yep. So clearly, it's set us back. Again, we're trying to figure out can we award to the low bid. I didn't mention that the difference between the first and second low bids was about $1.3 million. So that's another reason why we feel it'd be in the best interest of the town to do this. So it clearly set us back. I think once we get the DOT approval to reject all the bids, we should be able to hopefully get the plans kind of tidied up by July, go back out to bid, receive those bids sometime maybe August, September. This is best case scenario because it's, times always change, but and then start sometime in the fall, hopefully. But it all kind of depends on how DOT, what their level of review is on the bids. We haven't gotten to that point, right, where we submitted the bids and say, okay, we're recommending to award to this low bid. We haven't gotten there yet, so I'm not sure how long that's going to take. So there's still that uncertainty as far as how long DOT is going to take to let us move forward and award the contract.
And what does this do to everything that's been moved off the green? Can they go back on the green or no?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it because they've already had their contingency plans, and I
Right.
think probably worst case scenarios, we say, yeah, you can have that event, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, we're actually starting, because it's, obviously this is time sensitive as far as I'm concerned. We want to get this done and get it over with and all the headaches that are going to happen with this. But, so I don't know if you want to necessarily jump the gun. Maybe it's a case-by-case basis, but I would defer to the Selectman's office on that one.
Yeah, I think the events will still move forward with, the contingency plans that were developed for each event. Just remind the public at home, the Jazz Series will take place still on the green, but on the back side of the town green. They did have a few concerts back there already this year for the May concert series. It was, the feedback was all positive. It kind of creates a natural amphitheater back there. And in talking to the organizers of that event, they wanted to kind of continue with that location regardless, because when we were looking, like, they didn't want to move it mid-series. And as far as the festival, will still take place on Hammer Field because of, that project is, or that event is, underway in terms of the coordination, the logistics, as well as many changes that they're doing in terms of the number of vendors, the number, food vendors, as well as the artisan fair, and the carnival rides. That is all set for that location, so it would be a major disruption to change that course. So things are still proceeding as planned as with the project, as if it was taking place. I will just also add, did you have another question or no? I would just want to add, too, before we vote on this, I know we do have a motion in a second, because there's been some comments or questions of, why are we doing the project, the Main Street Reconstruction Rehabilitation Project, to this scale of what we're doing? Is it warranted? And this is not just a, improving, let's call it a beautification project, although at the end of the project, we expect it to be, our Main Street to be, greatly improved and beautiful, right? But, we're addressing many things that need to be addressed. The railroad tracks to ensure the, a longer-term integrity of the pavement, which doesn't exist today because of the amount of the disruption, the movement of the tracks that are right below the pavement. So that's addressed. Addressing the transition and the ADA issues that exist from one end of Main Street to the end, as well as the crosswalks and the signalization, which I've heard from a number of residents that, ought to be addressed. So, I don't think it's not only warranted, but I think, many of the improvements are necessary to be made. So that's why we're doing this project, and we're fortunate to identify a funding source that, kind of minimizes the impact to local dollars. It's primarily funded by the state of Connecticut. So just thank the engineering department for their work on this project. Go ahead.
So John, I think I heard you say that DOT has to also approve what you want to do today.
Yeah, so the process is the Board of Selectmen would presumably, not presumably, but hopefully reject all bids. Then it goes to the South Central Regional Council of Governments, who would then recommend to the DOT that this action take place and to rebid.
Is there any risk that DOT would not follow what is being recommended today?
There's always risk, but I think we've laid out a pretty good roadmap of why we're doing this, and good justification. And I say, we're the $1.3 million between the lowest and the second lowest. Technically not all of the town's money, right? Because this is the state's, but it's the taxpayers' dollars. So I think they would see that in the same light.
And I understand that one of the other bidders has objected to the process?
Yep, there was a protest to us, not to us rejecting all bids, because that is the reserved right of the Board of Selectmen, but to waive informalities in the low bid.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And rejecting all bids now, does that affect that particular complaint?
No, I mean, the Board of Selectmen reserve the right to waive, or to reject all bids.
I mean, there's always a possibility that someone will still try to sue. But I think the risk that we're concerned about also is you presented that there was uncomfortableness with whether or not the state was going to pay everything in the way it was going.
Right, or even if they would accept the waiver, right?
Right.
Yep.
And the
So there's-
protest was if we were to exercise an option to proceed with a waiver, right? That's what the protest was for,
So by
not moving. This is
rejecting all bids, that would take that off the table for now.
Hopefully.
You have
Yes.
to go out for rebid in order to get new.
right.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still have the opportunity to bid on the rebid, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it's been moved second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention. Item carries. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Item 3, to receive a report from Brian Devlin, Superintendent, Wastewater Treatment Facility, for emergency work necessary for the sewer line repairs at 4 locations between 944, 1018 Main Street. The work was completed by Layden Industries on May 8th, 2025, in the amount of $54,296.56.
Yes, we had similar issues a month ago. We had Fuji doing work for us. We cambered the lines. We had pipes that were pulled apart in the areas at the 4 locations, so we had to go in there and repair the pipes. If we didn't do that and they did work, and they'd be digging up the ground down the road. The flows coming out of the buildings were back, that they weren't flowing at the proper velocity. So this is it for the Main Street. There's no more issues after this here that we cambered. And this was the cost to do the work, the 4 locations.
And now that this work's complete, we'll reline.
Yeah, I
Main
got to
Street,
reline
yeah.
them. Yes,
Yep.
Jamie, thank you.
Right.
Reline the next
Will
month
take
or so.
place, yes.
I'll be doing
Well, there'll
that.
be work, but not
Yeah.
repair work. I just also like to note, although this is, considered emergency work, which we have the right to proceed with and then we hear a report based on that emergency work. However, there's the WPCA previously went out to bid for unit pricing, for time and material pricing.
Yeah.
So the rates charged have already been secured through a process.
So we have an active list right now.
We have an active list, just so, just know, so. All right. Any
Motion to approve.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, item carries. Thanks, Brian. Item 4, to consider and if appropriate, approve a 5-year shellfish lease agreement between the town of Branford and Charles Vines DBA Charles Island Oyster Farm LLC for bed 506, consisting of 32.4 acres. This isn't that. Shellfish Commission approved this, and it comes to us for our approval. Any questions?
No, this is just he's already been there, correct? We're just giving him, or is this a new one?
No, this is a new lease.
It's a new
New
lease.
lease, okay.
I guess the only thing I have to make a motion first, but I would hope that in the future or whatever, that the Shellfish Commission would send a representative to kind of explain this. I mean, I basically have to do this at face value. I have no idea of, all we ever get is these signatures,
Yeah.
unless you know it. I don't.
Yeah. So we can have a representative come at the
I would
future
rather.
meetings. Yeah,
Only,
maybe.
only because it's a 5-year lease and a lot of property. Unless there's some urgency, I don't think there would be to next meeting. We could just
Did these
postpone
also
it to
go to the
then.
RTM? No, it's just Board of Selectmen
Just
for
us?
the lease.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, they do a full application process, so I have a copy of the application as well.
I guess for transparency, just if they could explain what it is, how it happens, why they're giving it, you know, basically we do it for everything else. It's just, it's a lot, and I don't understand anything about it. So do I make a motion to postpone it to the next meeting? Would that be the best way?
We could table it if
Table
you
it?
like. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll deal with it in the next meeting.
All right, thanks.
All right,
Question?
sure.
There's no numbers attached to what we see here on the agenda. You know, the amount of money or any indication that this was up for any kind of competitive action. So hopefully the next meeting when they come,
Okay.
those things will be part of some of the discussion.
Yeah, just it is included in the lease. You probably didn't see the lease. It's not on the agenda. It's $50 per acre for a 5-year term. So the total for,
Not talking money.
yeah. It's gonna, all right, so we'll deal with that at our next meeting.
Thanks.
Item 5, reappointments. Academy on the Green, Don Gentile, term to expire January 30th, 2030.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item carries. Economic Development Commission, Jared Shulafan and Frank Hurd, terms to expire July 31st, 2028.
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Inland Wetlands Commission, Peter Basserman, term to expire May 31st, 2028, and Rachel Mursky, alternate, term to expire May 31st, 2028.
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Public Building Commission, Leonard Tampson, term to expire January 31st, 2029.
Motion to approve.
Second that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Zoning Board of Appeals, James Setti, term to expire October 31st, 2030.
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Appointments, Commission on Elderly Services, Laura Myjack to fill a vacancy left by Luba Schmidt, terms to expire December 31st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Correspondence, I don't believe we have any correspondence. Any other business? Sure, I have to come up here.
Thank you. Representative Tracy Everson, 5th District. Can you talk about what's happening with Public Works?
So, as you know, the facility we've been in for 14 years. We've been on notice that they did not want to renew our lease, despite our discussions of entering into a long-term lease which would include some improvements. However, they had a existing tenant that took the lion's share of the building, or does occupy the lion's share of the building, and that tenant was looking to expand. So they noticed us, provided us notice that they were going to change course rather than continuing the lease with the town of Branford, that they would be pursuing an agreement with the current tenant. They couldn't risk losing the tenant that took probably 85% to 90% of the existing building. So we've been evaluating different buildings and sites to accommodate that. We're in the process of both in terms of looking at a transition plan as well as a long-term or a home for Public Works. We have a few options. It's probably premature at this point to share those right now because we're just kind of evaluating the different locations. But I expect in the coming months to come forward with a plan, both to accommodate the transition as well as the long-term facility or a permanent, I should say, a permanent facility for Public Works.
So there's some flexibility. They're not going to be out as of June 30th, or?
Yeah, we're going to extend beyond that for at least another month, and working with we've been having discussions with the representative from the owner, the current owner. It's a Boston firm. But we are moving forward in terms of packing up, thinning out what we have, relocating temporarily some operations that can be staged elsewhere. But, we are, like I said, we recognize that we're going to probably have to have a transition plan, our facility, but the goal really now is, the focus really too is find a permanent location.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Any other business?
I'm sorry, just in terms of a permanent location, are you looking to somewhere that exists already, or are you considering construction?
I think we're looking at all options. I think the site, the town has been through this process in the past. Really, the available sites hasn't changed too much, right? We're not making land, but I also think we're looking at this not only, to find a permanent home, but for public works, but also, is there an opportunity to kind of looking into the future, what are some of the other requirements or needs of the town? Can we accommodate that as part of this plan? So we're taking that look at right now. So let's take a longer term look and just not limit it to, although the priority is public works, but if there's an opportunity to address some other needs, we're going to address those as well. And being both on the RTM, you'll be hearing about it soon.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Other business? Elise, you want to come up here? Or you got to, just so the microphone can pick up.
Hi, I'm Elise Siegel. So, I was told to come here for a situation that I'm dealing with. It's not business, so I'm hoping I'm in the right meeting.
Is it, I emailed me about addressing the board. I don't know, is it pertain to the board?
It has something, no, it has something to do with an aggressive pit bull that keeps attacking my dog, and the police aren't helping me, and they mauled a woman in the complex down the block, and he's not allowed off the property, and he literally comes to my house and attacks my dog all the time. And the cop said, well, dogs get out. I don't know what to tell you.
And have you contacted animal control?
Yeah, and they said he's not allowed off the property.
But it
If he's
continues to.
off the property, he needs to be on a leash, and I'm scared. I'm literally looking, and they curse me out every time they attack my dog. And I'm very upset at the police were just like, it appears you don't get along with your neighbors, Elise. Like, who says that?
Okay.
And I'm upset because I want to feel sorry. I want to feel safe, and I don't.
Police commission?
Yeah.
Be a start.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you about it.
So this is not the right meeting.
Well, I don't know if it's something that, it doesn't fall under our purview.
Okay.
I'm not, I want to give you the opportunity to speak if there's something that,
No, I
we
just
address.
have 2 dogs.
But
We
I
get
think,
attacked all the
I'd
time.
like to learn more about, what's the history of this going on, and certainly it's not just, for the police, but also I will address this with animal control, so maybe we just.
Animal control is doing better for me. Like the police just said, she literally looked at me and said, well, dogs get out of
So they gave notice to
The dog is not allowed off the property.
Off the property.
Ever.
And it continues to
Every
get
day.
All right, it continues. All right, so it sounds like this needs to be elevated to the next step, and let's get some more
not that
information.
this hasn't, but they literally curse me out every time they attack my dog.
Yeah, listen, the property, the owner has the responsibility to maintain control of their animals.
She's on the
It's not
phone
just
every
the
time
owner.
she gets out of the car, and he's off leash, and he just sees us and makes a beeline. And so I kicked the dog because he was coming at us, and
Yeah.
the guy almost kicked my ass. I have a video of him coming at me, the owner.
Okay.
So whatever. I need help.
No.
I'm literally ready to
yes.
sell my house, and I don't want to.
No, listen, you shouldn't be going through this. I agree. If there's an ongoing issue, we'll work to
Oh, it's
address
ongoing?
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So let's just talk, and we'll
Thank
talk
you.
about next steps.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other business? Hearing none, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah,
This program was brought to you in part with the support of the town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.